Are you a real estate investor and knowing where the best rental markets are in 2024? Not sure where to put your money this year? Well, I'm going to fix that in this video. I'm going to give the top 10 markets for rapid rent growth. But only that, because markets changed, I'm actually going to show you my methodology for picking the best markets as markets change. Hi, my name is Michael Blank, and how people become financially free with real estate. When I first got started with real estate, finding the right market was very frustrating. It seemed very complicated to me. In fact, I didn't even know there's such thing as picking the right market because I just kind of got started in my backyard, which in this case was Northern Virginia, and that was Washington, D.C. And I didn't know until after the fact that D.C. actually wasn't really a great market. It was kind of in the middle of the road market. So what I didn't realize was you want to actually be in a market that's growing, and you can get some yield. And I didn't realize that. So picking a market is super important. On the other hand, there's people who know this and they suffer from analysis paralysis. They'll keep looking at markets and never actually get started. And that's also a mistake because the truth is there's actually a lot of markets that really fit the bill. And which market should you go to? We're going to talk about that next. What if 4 videos could give you everything you need to build $10,000 a month in passive income in as little as 180 days? I've proven it many times over, and so have hundreds of other people just like you. And one of the best ways we discovered to reach financial freedom is by investing in apartments. Now, I know that sounds like super advanced, but the truth is you can get started today. You don't need years of investing experience. You don't have to have millions of dollars in the bank. So register for the free Masterclass Apartments 101 today and take that first step to really discover how you can build true wealth for yourself and your family. Let's do this. But the importance is that you got to pick the right market because a rising tide lifts all boats. So if you get into a market that's growing, even if you make some mistakes, which in Arrow we do, the growing rents and the population and income growth will actually solve those problems for you and drive rents up and NOI up. So picking a market is critically important, but using that as an excuse not to get started with actually making offers, that's also a problem. All right, first I'm going to give you the fish, and then I'm going to teach you to fish, okay? So you can go online and search for a variety of different rent growth projections. The one I like to use is by Apartment List. You can just go Apartment List National Rent Report. They do a good job not only doing national rent trends, but also by city. And as we all know, real estate is local, right? So you got to actually pay attention to your local city. And even within a city, there's different sub-markets that will grow faster than others. But for example, if you look at the past 12 months, now Providence, Rhode Island, believe it or not, is a top 405% rent growth. Fresno, number 2, Milwaukee, Chicago, Louisville, Oklahoma City, Boston, Washington, D.C., there it is, oh my gosh, number 7, New York, believe it or not, and Hartford. So a lot of cities that we're not used to were kind of the winners in the 12 past months. But if you look at the past 3 years, for example, okay, past 3 years, number 1, Miami, number 2, Tucson, Tampa, Boston, Orlando, New York, Indianapolis, Chicago, Providence, and San Diego. So if you look at the 3-year trend, the fastest rent growth is still found in the Sun Belt, even though many metros in those areas have cooled so much in 2023 because they ran up so much in 2022. They're kind of relaxing a little bit. You hear about, Scottsdale, Phoenix, and Austin, all rents are flat to down. Oh my gosh, and it's because they went up so fast in 2022. The rent growth always follows the population growth. And after COVID especially, a lot of people try to get out of the cities, and through that, because they were at home, realized they can work from home and therefore could work anywhere. So they started looking at other areas that were much more affordable and much cheaper to live in. So this is why so much of America moved into the Sun Belt. Nicer weather, high quality of life, lower cost of living. And so you get to study where the demographics move over the years, and typically rising population also result in higher rent growth. So that's exactly where the trend is right now. And even though these rents, here's very important, rents do fluctuate, okay? They fluctuate short term based on what's going on right now in the market. Maybe there's a couple apartment buildings that just open up, and so it kind of reduces the rents for a little bit in that area. But you want to study kind of the demographics, the rent growth, because these things, people actually move slowly over time. So the cool thing about finding out where the rent growth, where the population growth is going, is those trends happen very slowly. So what I want to do next is kind of describe my methodology for analyzing a market on your own. All right, in general, when you're looking at markets, you want to look for markets with high growth, number 1, with some degree of yield. Okay, so rental income, cap rates, that kind of stuff. And The third factor in my mind is you want to be in areas you like. Okay, that's just me. And the reason is because you need a tiebreaker, because you'll find there's a lot of markets that actually have really good growth and high yields. Probably maybe 20 markets you can find. How do you know what to invest in, right? And so I say, look, where do you want to be? Do you want to be, maybe you were in college somewhere, your friends or family there, or maybe you just like the sun more. Okay, well, shoot, then go there. Okay, go there. But here's the thing. Here's what you should do. So you're looking for high growth and high yield. So high growth is population growth. If you go to census.gov, census.gov, it has population growth for the past few years. You can export your favorite cities, and then you can rank them by population growth. You also want to look at job growth. So population growth is critical. But it also job growth sometimes come with it, but sometimes other factors like industries coming in, they affect the job growth. So go to bls.gov and they have job growth numbers and projections. Now, the next set of data comes from city-data.com. From there, you can get median household income growth. Number 2, house value growth. Then rent growth, we talked about apartmentlist.com. I love that. You can look at rent growth here. And then the last one around yield is cap rates. Typically, the lower the cap rate, the higher the prices are, and the less you get cash flow, right? So you will look for areas that are maybe above average in cap rates, meaning that the real estate values are below average. And that would be ideal. You want to look for the intersection of high growth, both in population and income, and high cap rates. That's what you want. And so what you can do here is you can actually put this all in the spreadsheet. You can download all this data, and for each city, you can actually compile them side by side, and you can sort them and rank them, and you can very, very quickly see, you can create a top 10 from this list, or top 20. And so rent growth is not just the only indicator, because sometimes it's kind of a lagging indicator, and it's a short-term trend. It's not a long-term trend. And you really want to get to areas where you are with the long-term trend of population and job growth and income growth. That's where you want to be. So I would pay slightly less attention to the rent growth, because like we saw in 2022, Austin, like on fire, Atlanta on fire, and then all of a sudden 2023, flat to down. You're like, oh crap, so how did I know? Well, I still want to be in those areas because those areas are growing. So while rents may be temporarily down, long term, they're going to be up. So put all these things in a spreadsheet and you'll have your top 10, top 20. And again, the way I like to take apart, look at all these cities and go, where do I want to be? Personal preference, honestly, because there's so many great markets you can possibly be in. All right, so now you know the top markets. Okay, you can find them anytime you want, rent growth markets, apartmentlist.com, but you now also know the methodology. You know the exact metrics to research, where to get them. So there's no reason for you to be lost or stuck with finding a market. Okay, so it's all about growth, yield, personal preference. And as long as you keep those three things in mind, you'll be just fine. Just make sure you do it. Don't get too stuck with a market, because there are a lot of good markets. And here's the thing, if you don't like the market in a year from now, you can find another market. It's not the end of the world. What's most important in this game is, yes, a little bit of research, but do not get stuck with analysis paralysis. That's awful. That's the worst thing you can do. And it's an awful excuse not to start making offers. Now, if you're not sure exactly how to get going, or maybe you don't even believe you can do this, apartment buildings, raising capital, oh my gosh, and you're kind of just overwhelmed by the whole thing, do not worry. I created an amazing free training course all about apartments. It's called Apartments 101. It gives you an introduction into the beautiful, wonderful world of investing in apartments, of finding them, syndicating them, and even if you don't have any previous experience or a bunch of money in your pocket. So check that out. It's at apartments101.co. I hope you check it out. I think you really enjoyed it. So let's do that deal.